This is Perdido, and thank you for tuning in to my CMCI 1010 podcast. Today, we are here, we are present, and we will discuss what it takes to transform a victim of relationship abuse into a survivor. At the University of Colorado Boulder, relationship abuse and domestic violence exist among us. Yet, this issue is still swept under the rug. Relationship abuse is not discussed openly in public, and this silence continues to stigmatize victims and prevent them from getting help. Many people believe that relationship abuse is too big, too abstract, too difficult to solve. However, it starts because of one simple thing: power. In abusive relationships, power is stripped from a victim. This causes victims to be manipulated, question themselves and their environment. However, the story does not stop there. This issue affects every single one of us. Today, we will hear from faculty and staff at the University of Colorado Boulder about how small steps in the right direction can reinstall power to those who lost it, therefore transforming victims into survivors. The first person we will hear from is Professor Michelle D. Simpson. Professor Simpson teaches ethics of ambition and women literature and the arts at the University of Colorado Boulder. She is also an attorney in family law. In my interview with her, Professor Simpson stated how prevalent relationship abuse is at the University of Colorado Boulder. Professor Simpson further explains how a victim of relationship abuse can be a friend, a roommate, a student, a faculty member, any person in the community. Professor Simpson then expands on why this issue exists.
Classes, I often talk about how it manifests, what it can look like, and that it's about power, it's about control, but that's not love. And to try not to confuse the two. But I think because most of us want to belong, we want to be loved, we want to be cared for by another human being, that's, human nature, we sometimes are mistaken. And that's true for all of us.
I then asked Professor Simpson, what does the world look like in the eyes of a victim? She answered,
in these instances of intimate partner abuse, by the time someone has come to me, a student has come to me to tell me what's going on in her relationship or the relationship of a roommate, friend, whoever it is, the self-esteem of that individual has so plummeted. How the individuals internalize the abuse is so effective in the sense that it causes that individual to really question everything. And it's also how many individuals who are victimized experience affection or love.
When a person is stripped of their natural power, it affects us all. That is why we must lend a hand to help victims of relationship abuse. The next person we will hear from is Tanya Kearns. Tanya is a victims advocate at the University of Colorado's Victims Assistance Office. In her interview, I asked Tanya, why is it important to help victims? She answered,
I think it would be pretty devastating to not only the person experiencing the abuse, but to our communities if they weren't getting support, care, compassion, and understanding. I think it would be pretty detrimental to not only that person and their future and their well-being, but to the people who engage with them, the systems they're a part of, their academics, their housing. I mean, if people are not being supported, everything else crumbles, or has the potential to. So I don't necessarily see this as like a compartmentalized problem of, oh, this is just, it's just your issue. I think it's a community issue.
Tanya supports the idea that the presence of relationship abuse affects every single one of us. This poses the question, how do we begin helping victims transform into survivors? Simply, we help by reinstilling power in those who lost it. But as a bystander, as someone with little experience with helping victims, I asked the question, how do we reinstill power? Tanya then explained how she handles this situation.
What we find to be true in our work with clients is giving as much agency, power, and control and choice to clients is the most beneficial. But it's hard to say because I think different people have different goals. Some people's goals might be in relationship, might be staying in that relationship, right? Their goals might be, I need shelter, I need financial support, I can't take care of my kids on my own, I need food and groceries, and my abuser supplies these things for me. So their goals might be really different, or it might not be reasonable to actually explore leaving that relationship as a viable option. So, for us, we're really exploring what feels best for you. Not what's the right answer, not judging them for the decisions they make, but what's actually going to be best for you in this moment and with your long-term goals. And so coming from that place and really letting clients and survivors guide that conversation.
Anya goes on to explain how it is essential to give victims the opportunity to make their own choices. As helpers, we may guide victims in the direction of counseling, friends, or support. However, the victim decides if and when they are ready to heal. So, how does helping victims of relationship abuse change our world? According to studies, when victims on college campuses heal, their grades and work ethic improves, and they retain more knowledge in class. This healing person can now achieve their full potential. They are empowered. They have successfully discovered their own worth and the love they deserve. A survivor's transformation demonstrates how small steps make a big difference in the community. Survivors prove that the power which was once stripped away can be regained. And this positivity impacts me and you. So please, lend a hand and start with the little things. This is Perdido, and thank you for listening.